Hello, Amy. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
First of all, I'd like to welcome our councillors here present, our councillors that are zooming in, but we'll start with our prayer. Almighty God, we humbly ask you to guide our deliberations for the welfare and the benefit of the Moira Shire and the people whom we serve. Acknowledgement to country, where the Moira Shire Council would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet and pay our respects to their elders both past and present. Okay, declaration of any interest or conflict of interest. No conflict of interest. Budget submissions hearing. The 2021-22 draft budget has been out for public consultation for the past month. Council has asked the community to consider the draft budget and make submissions. Council has received 12 submissions. 11 of these wish to be heard before today's committee of council. Could I please ask the council to move a motion to suspend standing orders to hear from people who wish to speak to their budget submissions this evening? Councillor Librick, can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Martin, thank you. Radio, Amy, if you want to, all those in favour? Thank you, Carrie. Radio, Amy, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. So good evening, councillors in the Moira Shire community. My name's Amy By and I am the president of the Catamatai Netball Club. I'm here to speak today with regards to our submission to upgrade our Catamatai Netball Courts. Our club currently has 3 senior teams, which are made up of A, B and C grade. Unfortunately this year, due to COVID, we were unable to fill a C reserve team, which hopefully we'll be able to do next year. We also have 4 junior teams made up of under 11s, 13s, 15s, 17s and a Net Set Go program. This incorporates over 60 junior kids and 35 senior players, plus the addition of volunteers and officials. As I spoke before, I'm here to talk about our netball courts. So the current netball courts are asphalt courts and they're in a terrible shape and a huge risk to the safety of our players and visiting players. The courts have been patched many times, leaving the surface slippery in sections, which can cause serious injuries. There are also tripping hazards in different spots on the courts, which makes it not ideal to play on. Another issue is that there's no proper runoff on our courts. So when it rains, which is a lot over winter, the water lays on top of the surface, which makes it very unsafe for us to play on, and the pooling of the water is causing damage to the courts. As I stated, our courts have been patched many times, but are at the point where they are beyond repair and a major upgrade is needed. At the end of last year, the courts were also required to be moved further apart, given the new regulations that came into play. Unfortunately, when this work has happened, and at the age of our courts, this has caused further damage. We've had numerous people look at our courts and we've been told that it's come to a point that we need to completely upgrade them. Our town's community action groups fully support our club with this project. We have letters of support that are available if you wish to see them. And many of our members are from Catamatai or the surrounding area, and they all feel that it's time to upgrade our courts. We've also spoken with Dylan Robinson and Peter Lawless from the Moira Shire in regards to the condition of our courts and our concerns about the safety of players. We're a very proud club and our club strives to put our players first, and we are very concerned for their safety. The upgrade will also give us a much needed boost and feeling of pride in our facilities. And I'd just like to thank you all for allowing me to talk to our submission today. And if you've had any questions, then please feel free to ask. Thanks.
From councillors. Councillor Martin.
Amy, would I be right in saying that you've been requesting this for about 3 or 4 years?
You would be absolutely correct in saying that. Yes, it's been a long time thing that we're really been trying really hard, but it's come to a point where it's really needed, and we've got a lot of concerns.
And just another question, it's probably a little bit off theme, but it's very important, I think, with inclusivity. Do you ensure at your club that everybody that wants a game gets a game?
We certainly do.
Not just win at all costs.
No, we're a very family orientated and a very welcoming club. We have one of the things this year is that we had over 14 under 15 players. So we've managed to roster and put in place different scenarios to be able to establish and keep all those players. And we've also sought out external coaching mechanisms and coaches to come on Sundays to help those other players that necessarily aren't are part of a club, but give them some more coaching and other means of netball.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no further questions, Councillor Lawless has one. Yes, thank you.
Amy, are you aware that we already have got this project in the upcoming budget for renewal?
Yes.
And providing that we pass the upcoming budget is what I understand. So I think it should be, you should be fairly happy.
Yeah, we are aware of that. We just wanted to continue to talk.
No.
Sorry, we wanted to continue to talk to our submission just to make sure people really understand how important this is to us and how much we really require it.
Okay, well, no other further questions. Thanks for your presentations, Amy.
That's okay. Thank you for your time.
Bye.
It's okay, Murray.
That's okay, Murray. It's having 50 cents each way.
Hello, is Malcolm Dixon there? Kerry Murray, sorry. Kerry, we're ready for you.
Oh, hello. Actually, I'm hoping Mel Dixon would come on board too. So maybe he's running late. I'm sorry.
Kerry Murray, sorry.
We're a bit early.
Hello, actually, I'm hoping Mel Dixon would come on board too. So maybe
Wayne, Sally and I'll catch you. Sally and I'll catch you.
I can start speaking if needed. If it's going to hold up everything, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Or
I haven't. He hasn't come to the room yet. If you'd like to start, and we'll let him in as soon as he appears. That'd be great. Thank you.
Kerry.
Okay. So thank you for hearing our submission. So this on behalf of the Strathmerton Community Steering Committee. We previously put in a proposal with Pick My Project. It was supported by Moira Shire, so it also ticks a lot of boxes as far as the community. We've done community consultations, which have highlighted the lack of facilities, whether they be for just walking, for young mums, older people. It's about a safe walking track. With the possibility that it could then feed into the park run programs, and it also would be the commencement of a further bigger project that we've got planned, and that's for a rail trail which goes from Strathmerton to Cobram, which we've actually done a feasibility study on. The safe walking track surrounds the current recreation reserve in Strathmerton. So we have at least 10 user groups immediately that would support. It would beautify the whole area. As it is, even from the golf perspective, we often have people walking across the golf course, walking their dogs while we're playing golf. So it's always been known as a safe area for people to come and provide some recreation. the idea of beautifying the area. We've obviously lost a lot of gum trees. We've had Alan from Moira Shire come and the arborist and check, Alan Thompson, and check, and he said there's been a lot of trees lost for whatever reason. So it would also assist in whether it's local habitat, improving the general environment, but ultimately it probably would enhance not just Strathmerton, but the whole of the community. It's a real pity because we've, as part of our project, we have a video, we have all sorts of added support and information that councillors could access, which I would hope that you might be able to at some point in time. But Mel and Linda Dixon were going to actually run that, so I don't actually have the capacity to do that, I'm sorry. But it certainly, we're mindful that we would like this to be the start of the feasibility study for the rail trail, because like all programs, you need a spot where there's public toilets, where there might be a drink fountain for people that are walking this track and this trail, have an opportunity to park their cars, just be a starting point. So this would be a starting point to access the rail trail that we're hoping that Moira Shire might have somewhere on their future budget allocation. As I said, it's would be a great support for Strathmerton immediately, Strathmerton community at all levels, from the sporting groups that use the facility to just the general public. It also support, as I said, the broader community. So we see it as a Moira, the whole of Moira would actually benefit from this track. It's 1.5 kilometres long in distance. Terrific, Mel. I'm trying my hardest to speak to this. So I'm going to let you take, I've probably given a rough outlay of what the project would entail, but I'm hoping that you can assist with even some of the videos or some of that support that we've already put in. Thanks, Mel.
Here we go. We finally got in. Can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
I can.
We've been. Yeah, sorry. We got locked out, but we managed to get in. We heard pretty much everything that Kerry said. Really, there's not much point in me repeating it. Although I don't think Kerry mentioned the cost. Did you, Kerry?
No, I haven't.
No. So estimated about 43,000, about 30,000 for road base for the path, for decomposed granite, and 3,000 for vegetation, about 5,000 for signage, and 5,000 for furniture, if you know, all weather furniture, the chairs, and so forth. I think one. All right. Now we've got a little PowerPoint presentation, and then we've got a little drone flyover just showing the proposed track. We'll just see if we can play the PowerPoint presentation. Oh.
Can you enable screen sharing?
Yeah, we need to be able to share.
Malcolm, is this the presentation already been given to the councillors?
I think so. Yes.
No.
No.
No. No. This hasn't been given to the
All right.
councillors. No.
So no, this PowerPoint presentation has not been presented before. No.
Okay, Malcolm. Councillors, got any questions? Councillor Martin.
Yes, thanks, Malcolm. A couple of questions. Do you envisage that there'll need to be any mesh fencing at all so no one gets hit with a a golf ball? That's number one.
No,
Number
no.
two, do you have a friends of group that would help with keeping the track sort of in pretty good condition? And the other little thing, it sounds fantastic, but for people that have got pushers and prams and that, actually getting across the railway line at Strathmerton, is there anything there to sort of link it into the footy ground? I don't want to put a moz on it, but I'm just wondering if, you know, for people that want to go there with pushers and prams or gophers or whatever. But so the mesh fence, a friends of, and the access. Thank you.
I think the mesh fence, well, the mesh fence, we'd have to take that one on advisement at the moment. Just at the moment, we don't think so, but I did notice on the we do go around the back of a couple of greens, so we'd have to sort of consider that.
Excuse me, Mel, can I just interrupt? We envisage that when the golfing competition was being played, we would have a sign up saying just to highlight to people that there was currently golf being played. So that generally only happens twice a week. So yeah, we as a golf club felt that that was our responsibility, just to alert the public that there could be a ball or two flying around.
Thank you.
And in relation to crossing the railway line, at the moment, the only way across the railway line is using Numurkah Road. So you can't get across the railway line between the golf course and the township without coming back onto Numurkah Road.
Well, that's important. That's what we do at the moment.
And the friends group, do you have a friends? Obviously,
Oh,
have a friend.
We get great support from the Strathmerton Lions Club, and we could perhaps look towards the golf club and the footy club for volunteer support from time to time. But I think long term we'd really be looking to council to help maintain the track.
Okay, thank you.
Particularly in the future, we hope to link this up to the rail trail, which is a much more ambitious project. And if we can link it up to the rail trail, then we'd try and incorporate it all into the one.
Thank you.
Malcolm and Kerry, I've got a question to the steering committee. You're requesting for 43K from the Moorish Shire. Has the committee itself got to put any money towards it?
Well, we've got a bit of money, but we're hoping not to put too much. We've got as I say, we've got this the rail trail project on the go. We've only got about $12,000 of our own, and that's money hard come by. And so we sort of haven't really got that earmarked for anything yet. But
If we can take that leaves about 31,000 for the Moorish Shire to put in. That sounds a bit better, doesn't it?
That's one way of looking at it. That's one way.
So
Thank you.
can I also interrupt just to say that ongoing, the golf club have constantly maintained the area through the drought, and so that assistance will continue. They've also replanted a few trees at their own cost. So the golf club have gone ongoing volunteers that continually work towards making the whole area a nice area for people to walk. So between the rec reserve and particularly the golf club, the area is also already very well maintained.
Any other questions? Councillor Limbrick.
Hello.
Councillor.
Oh, Malcolm, just a quick one. You talked about, I think Kerry spoke about the signage on, that's probably my major concern, being a fairly erratic golfer. Is there only one access point from the car park to the track? Is that, from what I'm looking at, you logically park in the car park near the old tennis courts and gain access to the track somewhere near the golf clubhouse? Is that the plan?
Yes, that's correct.
So there are no other points where people can access the track where they wouldn't be able to be notified that there are golfers on the course and be careful?
Not that I know of.
Right, that's fine. Yep.
So is the track within the golf course? Is it on?
It's around the
It's
outside of
around
the golf
the
course.
outside.
It's right around the outside of the golf
then
course.
I'll ask the
Within-
question, who's
within
liable if on a runaway ball? Who carries a liability on a
The golf
runaway
club.
ball? Is it the golf club? that does it?
Players have got a liability insurance,
Yeah.
that they aren't in membership, so
Okay,
if you can kill somebody.
you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just have a comment,
Yes,
Mayor.
Councillor.
Yeah, councillor. Look, I think it's every idea has a starting point, and I think it's fabulous. I do remember visiting the Beechworth golf course, and it has a walking track that runs beside it, as well as I think it runs between a couple of holes as well, and it seems to work okay. I don't think anyone's died yet by a wayward golf ball, but and I do remember some signage as well. So I'm just thinking that it can work. So it was just making a comment more than anything else. Thank you.
Okay, no other councillors got any other questions? Well, Malcolm and Kerry, I'd like to thank you very much for your presentation. And we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Simon, Craig Prescott and Helen White. Will be okay, welcome. So we've got Craig Preston and Douglas White. Is that correct? Helen White.
Good
Thank
evening.
you. Thank you. If you want to make a presentation.
You're going, Helen?
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the reason we're making a submission to the draft budget is because we were very keen to get the bridge into the Wilby Reserve restored so that traffic can get through at the main entrance of our reserve. At the moment, the bridge is closed to traffic, only open to pedestrians, and that's caused some problems and some concerns amongst the community and the users. So I know this particular project is something that you've been aware of for nearly 4 years, and I'm not sure how much more you need me to say, but I think perhaps the main points are that, for people parking, some people are parking on the roadside, which is not safe, rather than driving 3 kilometres around the back of the reserve to get in. There's the problem of, just making it easy for users to take their equipment or whatever into the reserve at the centre of our town, rather than having us all go around the back door sort of thing. I'm not just sure if you've read all the submission, but we've got a number of user groups and they're all very keen to see this bridge restored. I know that Graham Henderson, the show engineer, has been doing some costing on it. The figure that he's come up with is quite scary, but at 163,000. But anyway, if that's what it takes. But anyway, Craig might have some points on safety because he's very aware of those things too. Are you there, Craig? Yeah. Oops. You're muted.
Sorry about that. Good evening, all. Look, I'd just like to endorse what Helen was saying, and I thank the council for their generosity of recent times, which we were hoping to stretch a little bit further between the renovations of the hall and this bridge, and now we're sort of coming back with our hands out again. But the bridge, I believe, is quite important. It's part of the Wilby structure of the whole town. And also, just with a cap on, a past Wilby Fire Brigade captain and now Yarrawonga Group officer, it does concern me the little bit of a death trap that it can be in there with one exit. I have been caught myself in a pretty serious fire in the same situation. I was very lucky to do a 3-point turn, a 180-degree turn in complete smoke and get out of there myself. So I'm pretty aware of what it can be in there. And when there's several hundred people in there at one time, children, horses, I just think that bridge, even though it's still an escape route as far as pedestrians go and probably can get horses out, it does concern me about what a chaotic scene it could present in there, really. But the only other thing is just to bring to your attention that we were told too that there was some frame. I know we have to stick with rules and regulations, but we were told originally there was a frame in the council yards which used to cross, I think, a channel. And all we're asking is a simple little bridge. We don't want anything extravagant. This $160,000 seems extravagant to me, but like a 3-ton rating would absolutely cover it with some sides and that. So I would like to hear from an engineer why it does have to be that much, and why we can't make it a little bit simpler and help everybody out. But otherwise, I think that sort of covers it. It's the same old story that you've probably read before. So thanks for your time.
That bridge that Craig just mentioned, Andrew, that's not available anymore, is it? I haven't seen it around.
It hasn't got a deck on it, Mr. Mayor.
It hasn't got a deck, but I don't think that'd be wide enough. That bridge was only for the channel over the showground stand here, so that will only be possibly 10 metres long at the most, so that wouldn't be suitable. So any councillors got some questions for Craig? Councillor Martin.
Yes, I'm just wondering with what's the tonnage that the cost that you've got beside it? What would that carry? You know, a big 4-wheel drive and a horse float, or you know, what's the capacity, the load of that bridge at 164,000?
A fire truck.
Sorry,
A fire
a
truck.
fire truck.
No, I understand that the bridge that Graham Henderson is proposing would still have a load limit, and it would not be suitable for really heavy vehicles, mostly just, the ordinary vehicles. So a really big gooseneck with horses in it, maybe not either. But yes, we do understand that we might have to have a load limit, but at that price, you'd think it should be able to carry plenty of vehicles, like the Sydney Harbour. Anyway.
Any other questions from councillors? Councillor Paulus, thank you.
Helen, Craig, there's been a bit of talk about the Wilby Equestrian Area project getting up, and I've heard a few comments both ways of support for it. But it would seem to me that we'd need 100%, have that supported really well. Then that would make this other project fall into place at some time in the future. What's your comment on the community support for that going ahead with the equestrian centre? What do you think there?
There is support. We've had committee meetings and things where it's been raised, and other user groups are very happy that the ground will be used for more people. And yes, a bridge that would carry even greater weight would be lovely, but we just will be happy if we can get some traffic access.
Yeah, I'd imagine the equestrian will definitely go ahead. Peter, it's just a matter of nutting it out a little bit with the other horses, the camp drafters. It'll be close in against them, but otherwise I don't see any problem, and we're up for the more users, the better. And yeah, back on the bridge, yeah, all we want is just 3, possibly 4 tonne at the most. We don't want to get 12, 14 tonne fire trucks over it.
Okay, so any other questions? Okay, Helen and Craig, I want to thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you, and we'll be in touch.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, am I here?
Unmute, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Tony, are you there?
I am.
Hear me?
Can you hear me okay?
And thank you, welcome. And if you want to go with your presentation, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, councillors. Firstly, I'll apologise for a couple of other committee members. They work right till 5:30, so they were hoping to dial in and they may join us late, but I'm mindful of your time, so we'll soldier on in case they come in. First, thanks for the opportunity to submit again. This one links to our broader event program that works in addition to our local tourism authority grant that we get every year, which we use to run the Easter River Beaches Festival, and we do the Why Leave Town program along with the other LTAs, and we maintain our app, our Visit Cobbenbrugger app, and a few other bits and pieces that we do. This is our events program. Hopefully you have the presentation or the submission there, but I'll kind of read from that because it might be easier for context. So in 2017, we launched this program. The aim of that program was to support the economic development and tourism of our area through growing an events program, but mostly focused on sports events, as we saw it was a strength of our region linked to our infrastructure and facilities. And we wanted to leverage those events to increase accommodation bookings, retail, food, beverage, and tourism businesses. At that time, our own group was doing very little in that space. We weren't really doing anything. There were some other events around, as you guys would know, but we weren't really doing a lot. We set a target. We adopted a strategy at the time, and we did a presentation. And our target was that by year 4, which was this year, we would be hosting or supporting 10 events, bringing more than $3 million into the local economy. We are now at that 4th year, acknowledging that effectively we really have lost one of them. And we've attracted 9 major events that will bring around 3,000 people to town over the year, staying for about 44 days and generating about $3.12 million in economic activity. As we pointed out at the time when we introduced the strategy, and a lot of you guys would know, the events industry, while we really see the benefits of it, is competitive, and event owners more and more see value in that, and hosting fees and support of events is very common in that. And really, you just have to make it an event by event decision as to what actually has a return on investment and what we think provides benefit to the region, and go after them and try and secure them. So generally, a program like this in a lot of other areas is provided by councils, and we're not to suggest that ours has to do that. We're just stating a fact that they are. So it's quite unique for a little not-for-profit like us to do work at this level, all voluntary, not volunteer, not-for-profit. We're working with event owners, and generally we compete with regional cities as well. So we kind of think that the results we've been able to produce over the last 3 years, where we've been delivering these, and this year we're punching above our weight in this area. Interestingly, we put on that proposal what some of the areas around us are spending to attract events. We think that's evidence that they know there's absolute benefit in doing it. If you wanted to know later on, we've also put some percentages on that as a percentage of their total budget, and we've put a percentage of our request as a percentage of total budget as well in context of that. And we think that all kind of sits in a reasonable area. So to deliver this set of 9 events this year, in addition to the stuff that we'll also do, and also acknowledging that we are very aware of and support a range of other events in the 2 towns and region that are some of our more staple events that continue around the edges of this too, and that's part of our strategy, will cost us about $115,000 to deliver that event this year. We note council's budget, if we look at some of those key areas around community grants, events, tourism and visitor services, is around about 1.7 mil this year in the draft budget. So we're requesting for council, we're asking for $60,000 of that 1.7 potentially, or if it comes from somewhere else, we're okay with that. But we're sort of saying that amount, it's about half of what we have to generate anyway. We will generate the other half in other ways. That's what we'll do. And not only that, the in-kinders we think probably are worth at least that when we're all down there all week and weekends supporting these events and lifting fences and moving things and promoting them and putting that up in addition to that. So we see this as a genuine partnership with council in an area that we know in most other areas councils would be doing, but we need council's help. And we really do think that that's important. I'll skip by the other one that talks a little bit about where that works in percentages, but happy to come back to that. But we do think that, you know, one good thing about events is we think they're pretty genuinely measurable because the participants do come and they do stay and we can measure that. And there's a lot of research in. We think for every dollar invested by council in that, it's going to get more than a $50 return based on expenditure. And we think that's pretty conservative and there's more info on that. As we said, the balance of that money, we will be working with other sponsors, our own staff, our members' fees to do it. Bearing in mind, it's not the only activity we run. We do other stuff too that we also have to raise fees for and funds. But I do want to finish a little bit with this by saying that, look, every year it's been a struggle for us running this in our relationship in this part. And we're seriously trying to work on some of this stuff right up to the 11th hour. And we underwrite stuff and we work on it, and we are a small volunteer committee and we're trying to do good stuff in partnership. Our committee absolutely resolved, and we're not saying this in any way as a threat, we're just saying it really because we're tired. I guess we're kind of saying we've worked so hard for 4 years. We've done everything we said we could do. We think we've delivered everything we set a target to. But our committee has said if we don't see buy-in by councils to say we think this is a good program too, and we think this is a reasonable support, we'll probably have to look for other things. We can't deliver all that. We can't do it. So our committee's resolved to kind of go, pending you guys' direction a little bit, we may have to get out of the game a bit, which we think would be pretty sad because we've shown we're good at it. And that means probably cancelling some of these ones we've talked to you about that you'll see. And we just have to do that. It's not, we don't want to do it. In fact, we're begging you to help because we think we can do, we think we're doing really good stuff. But this time we've said we don't want to be on the 2 days before an event saying, come on, where are we up to? Where are we up to? Is this working? And being quite stressed out about that happening, only to have it end up happening, which has been great. This, what I do need to say, council have been terrific. A lot of the officers have been terrific too, we have to add, and really supportive and helpful. So I don't want that to sound negative. We have had, I'll just quickly welcome Nikki, our president, has just joined us.
My apologies, everybody.
Yeah. So yes, we see this as a partnership, and we really hope that it's something we can do together. But we have really acknowledged we can't do this anymore on our own to that. And, you know, pending you guys' direction, it may well be that we need to reassess our level of involvement in this area as well. And then hopefully in there, you'll see a series of events.
The question I want to ask, first of all, is how much is Berwick Shire also tipping in?
Sure. So we're going to put a request to Berrigan of around $20,000. And there's a reason for that, Councillor Mustick, and that is that really the key event in there is the beach volleyball, which has the highest cost. And have you guys got that presentation in front of you with the breakdown of each event? And do you have that, or would you like me to go through that, or can you see that there?
I won't have time, mate. Sorry.
No, all good. Well, that is there. So that's the key one. And that's a significant part of that. We think the volleyball is really important. I did email all you councillors directly a copy of the presentation, but with a link to the volleyball, that had 216,000 views, as well as another 70,000 live stream views. So take that out, though. The event also just genuinely generates over the week where we have 140 odd people here playing. So we think that event straight out generates about $600,000. That's purely off the back of the people who are here playing it. That doesn't, the benefits of the broadcast and the 216,000 people looking at it, and I hope councillors, you've seen some of the stuff and had some feedback on that. That's kind of why, and a lot of the other events, the Tri-State Games is mostly based in Moira Shire. 4/5 of that will be based in Moira. The cricket's mostly, there's as much in Moira as Berrigan. There's uni games.
Mate, sorry. Councillor Martin, you've got a question?
Yeah, just a couple of things, Tony.
Yeah.
Good presentation. Just wondered, each year, I know it's pretty hard, but do you have any money left over to put to the next year's events? And also, out of that 600,000 that it generates in the businesses and taking COVID out of the way, what is generated back into the tournament from the people, the accommodation houses and eateries and that who are benefiting? So what's actually coming back into your kitty that you've got for the next year? Yep.
Sure, Councillor. So firstly, the COVID has, as we said, it's only 3 years old, the program. Prior to COVID, we were building our membership, which was making a contribution significantly. So we think out of that, firstly, we don't generate a lot more than that. So CBBT do put money in. We do have some partners other than councils. The sports club are a major partner and help deliver this program. So certainly the project, we would think we were using it to grow our membership to make more of a contribution, probably $20,000 to $30,000 a year. We would think our membership contribute. But really, Councillor Martin, COVID really has impacted on that and made it hard for us to see what the growth of that has looked like over time. It's basically pulled the handbrake on it, if you like. But we do hope we can start to rebuild it again, which is what we want to do now.
Tony, Councillor Mansell has a question for you.
Tony, congratulations on the efforts of your committee doing what you're doing, and it's great to see. The only thing I want to add is that a presentation that you've just made to us, I suggest we'd like to see you do it at Berrigan Shire.
No, we have forwarded it as well, and we will be presenting to them through their budget process also, Councillor Mansfield.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions from councillors? Councillor Brooks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tony, and Nikki, I just wanted to take the opportunity to congratulate Cobham Brugger Business Tourism for the work that you guys are doing promoting our region. And I think, you've done some amazing work. I'm just curious, Tony, about what event did you lose out of your 10 that you had proposed?
Oh, no, we didn't lose it. I think, Councillor Brooks, it was more that this is all we got to because of COVID. And also our funds. We have to really be careful of what we think we can afford. So, no, we didn't lose one. We just, we didn't hit the 10. But if honestly, we knock events back. We've probably got 4 events that have been sent our way that we've had to say we just need to wait. If we wanted it down, if we wanted to get to 10, we'd get another event in 3 weeks if we wanted to. Easily.
Well done. Yeah. No, you do a great job. So I hope you don't disband.
Well, no, we won't disband. We just might not be able to deliver these events.
Yeah, okay. Thanks,
Easter River Beaches and Easter River Beaches and our app and stuff might be our limit, and we might have to pull out of events.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
Limerick has a question, Tony.
Just more a statement, Tony. Congratulations. I'd like to congratulate you guys on what you're doing. I think it's an amazing effort for a voluntary group. The only one in the Shire that's actually doing the stuff that you're doing, and you pull together in such a short space of time. And that recurrent funding, as you've said in your presentation, I think is an absolutely critical part of trying to organise the sorts of stuff that you're trying to do, coming cap in hand for each event. Just makes it really stressful on you guys. And so I agree with what you're saying. And I think your presentation is fantastic. And I think what you've achieved in such a short space is very commendable. So I wish you all the best.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Councillor Limbrick. Time to go with Tony and Nikki. Thanks very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, councillors.
See you later.
Bye.
Now, councillors, Kimberly Collins is not speaking.
Hi, Stephen, can you hear us?
I can. I'm just trying to get things turned on here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, right to go, Simon. Okay, thank you, Stephen. If you want to present your presentation, thanks. That's on with Victorian Speedboat Club.
Yeah, that's correct. First of all, forgive me if I don't get this quite right, because this is the first time I've ever done this. So my name is Stephen Scott. I'm on the committee of the Victorian Speedboat Club. And in 2021, we held an event on Lake Mulwala and the Yarrawonga foreshore, being some powerboat racing, along with a family fair. We had rides, we had market stalls and food trucks and so on. So it was a family event which ran over 3 days. As I say, I'm from the Victorian Speedboat Club. We're a non-for-profit club based at Lake Epilop. Our primary objective is to promote powerboat racing, and we go around the country to different venues doing that, and one of which is Yarrawonga. We've had a long history with Yarrawonga, running events New Year's Day and Boxing Day some years ago. What we've come to now, our event is the EC Griffith Cup. That's an Australasian Championship for powerboats of unlimited class racing. And we also are creating or want to create a type of Anzac Cup in a way that the AFL have done to promote that weekend of powerboat racing. We've got strong support from Yarrawonga Mulwala Tourism and Business. They helped us along this year, 2021 being the first year that we've had this concept of a boat race as well as a family weekend. So our investment in this event this year, we turned over $60,000 over the weekend. As I said, we're a non-for-profit club, so we budget to break even, and that's what we did this year. Over the 3 days, it's estimated that there was 12,000 people attended our event. So from the 12,000 people, there was a REN plan commissioned, and in that REN plan, it shows that there's a benefit of approximately $2.7 million to the two towns of Yarrawonga, Mulwala and the local area over the 3 days. So this year being our inaugural event, we had some hurdles. We're all dealing with COVID, as you know, and at our wash-up meeting with the Moira Council and all the stakeholders that were involved in the event, one of the major hurdles we're going to have in the future is that we need better crowd control and to be able to know and control who is on the foreshore. And to do that, we're proposing to put temporary fencing up from one end to the other to control that crowd. Along with that comes people to man the gates and check people's tickets as they come in and out. When I say tickets, this is a free event to the community as well, with the support of Yarrawonga Tourism. So those gate people, we're proposing to approach local clubs, being it netball clubs, football clubs, whoever we can, because we need quite a number of volunteers on the gates. We attempted this year and we really struggled to get volunteers free of charge. So the proposal is this year, if we can offer a football club some money, and then they can supply their as like a sponsorship type thing, and then they can supply the volunteers we require to man the gates over those 3 days. So in my proposal there, I'll put the initial quotes we have for fencing, and and it's running up with what we had this year and what we'll need next year, around $10,000. And I'm proposing we're going to need some funds also to give to those sporting organisations. So if we're looking at the 15,000 that I've proposed, it's really less than 1% of what the event is going to benefit the region. So that's basically where we're at.
Stephen, I've got a question because we're going to run out of time before long. I mean, it says here generate $2.7 million. All the beneficiaries, they've been approached for sponsorship. $15,000 lot of money, but $2.7 million that they're going to gain in motels and hotels is. Have they been approached?
Absolutely, I was staggered. It was a REN plan that Yarrawong Mulwala Tourism. I don't know who done the plan. I think it's within your council, and I was staggered at the $2.7 million. I just, so surprised at that number.
Also, Stephen, has Federation been approached for the same sort of sponsorship?
As yet, they haven't, because the event is held on the Yarrawonga side, which is within the Moira Shire, I believe.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Martz has a question for you, Stephen.
Thanks, Stephen, for your presentation. I just wonder, following on from Councillor Musticker, the $2.7 million, with your event planning and that, how much were you left at the end? How much did you, I suppose, profit that you can go forward with? Because I gather you didn't run at a loss.
Zero. As I said, we budgeted to break even. And that is what we've done this year. It's a free event to the public, so there's no gate takings or anything like that. So the only income that we received was from Yarrawonga Mulwala Tourism. They were a major sponsor, and also the Mulwala Ski Club were our secondary sponsor. And then we had some minor sponsors, but yeah.
That's very noble, but I just wondered whether you'd consider doing, like Violet Town Market, do a gold coin donation. Like it's fantastic that you're free, but you still got to cover costs. So yeah.
Any other questions for councillors? Councillor Mansfield has a question for you, Stephen.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen, for your presentation. This year's event was very, very successful. There's no doubt that there were 9,000 people there, without a doubt. And but the thing is, in the future, you would assume that it's still going to be, even though you're going to have temporary fencing, it would be a free event. I think that's what made it so successful, because it was free.
Yeah, that's correct, and that's part of the arrangement we had with Yarrawonga Mulwala Tourism as the major sponsor. It was on their, I guess, say so that it was to be a free event because it is a community event.
Thank you, Stephen. Councillor Burke's got a question, I think. Councillor Burke, can you hear me?
Yeah,
You're
unmute.
muted. You need to unmute.
Unmute.
I'd love to leave you that way, but anyway. Ask your question. He heard. He's laughing his head off. Look. Well done. Kevin?
Yeah, no, I'm right. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. All good, thanks.
I have a question.
Okay, you did have a question. Sorry, Councillor Burks. Any other questions for councillors? Councillor Limbrick has one for you, Stephen, and Councillor Elliott after that. Councillor Limbrick.
Stephen, I think just following on from Councillor Mansfield, and I think Councillor Martin too, the asking for donate, I understand the support from Yarrawonga Mulwala Tourism, but asking for a donations is something that I think doesn't happen maybe often enough. And I think if you're running a community event, just having that facility at the gate where you've got people on the gate where you can ask people to drop a coin in the box, you'd be surprised. The New Year's Eve Carnival, we have a gold coin donation for the fireworks, for example, and we pick up about 2,500 in donations, which pays for half of the fireworks. So I think it's sometimes underestimated how people will just throw a couple of bucks in on the way in. And if you've got 9,000 people there, you might pick up 5 or 6 grand, and it just makes life a bit easier for everybody. And I think most people are not sort of into a free lunch; they're happy to chip in a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So just a point, really, I think it's underestimated. It's you're not charging people to get in, but you're giving them the options. And I think that's a pretty sensible play.
There's a question. Councillor Elliott, you got one? A quick one?
Can I just answer the question on the gold coin, because it's been asked or mentioned several times. For me, the problem I see from our point of view is that is not a guarantee. As I say, we're a not-for-profit. We haven't got a lot of money. We budget for a zero profit on the event. So to say we're going to have $4,000 or $5,000 gold coin, hoping, it leaves us pretty open to running at a big loss.
Yeah, sorry, that wasn't my point. I wasn't suggesting for a minute that you rely on it, but I'm just saying it's just another way of offsetting some of the costs and just getting a little bit more in the bucket. That's all. I wasn't suggesting for a minute you rely on it.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is the intention of this is to be an annual event and an event that can grow in stature and be better and better each year. And if we happen to come out with, $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 in gold coin in donations, rest assured that would be invested into the following year. We're not in it to make money. We're in it to put on a show and do what we do.
Thanks, Stephen. Councillor Elliott, you got a question?
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Look, Stephen, your presentation really good. I do believe I've been a long time resident of Yarrawonga, and I've spent many of New Year's Eve and Boxing Day on the foreshore. I just think like it used to be, it's been fenced off for a lot of years. And I do remember going back probably 10, 15 years ago. I thought there used to be a charge to actually get into the boat races, especially on New Year's Day. And just wondering, like there was still bloody 10,000 people on the foreshore, even with the charge. So I think I just want to endorse what Councillor Limbrick said. I think there needs to be a charge of some sort. Any comments on that, Stephen?
I would have to go back and see how YMTV feel about that, because part of the arrangement with them to get the sponsorship of them was for us to not charge. So if we turn around and say we're going to charge and make $10,000, they may very well turn around and say, well, that's $10,000 we don't have to give you.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
So maybe
Steve, we're going to have to run a bit short of time, Steve, so we're going to have to move on. Steve, for your first presentation, you've done exceptionally well. Congratulations, well done, and thank you, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, and whenever we go to Vic, Simon, Vic's available. I can see in the bottom set. Yeah.
All right, you're on, Grandpa. There you go.
Okay. Vic, you ready for your presentation?
They're talking to you.
Yes, yes.
Let me see if I can get it bigger. Hang on.
Thank you.
I'll just make it a little bit bigger for him. All right, there you go.
Good afternoon to our Committee of Council. My name is Vic Dote. I now reside at Nathalia, 28 Weir Street, Nathalia. I have grown up and lived in Nathalia for 85 years now, being a rate player for 64 of those years. I have seen Nathalia advance from the horse and buggy days to this modern life we now live. I would like to take this moment to congratulate Council for the work they have been doing to make this town an enjoyable place to live in. I would like to submit to Council a request for a footpath to be constructed along Weir Street, Nathalia, between Federation Street and Burke Road in their 21-22 budget. The majority of our residents who reside along this stretch of road are above retirement age, with many requiring use of mobility scooters, including my wife and myself. Currently, we have to share the road with cars, etc., until we're unable to access the footpath that runs from Federation Street to Blake Street. This road is very narrow, and with this increased traffic from the new estate, Burke Road, this is causing increased
risk for pedestrians. Although there is a footpath along the levee bank on the opposite side of the road, this is not accessible for elderly residents along the section of Weir Street I refer to, and is also difficult for parents with prams to access. I have attached a map 3355 highlighting the area in which I am referring to. The pink highlighted area being the proposed footpath and the thick black line indicating the levee bank. I hope Shire can turn around and look towards having a footpath for us in the near future. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Vic. So any councillors got any questions? No, councillors, I can't see Councillor Burke. Simon, is he? He hasn't got a question. Councillor Burke, you haven't got a question? No. All right. No, you're muted.
No,
Councillor Martin has a question.
No, I haven't got a question.
No?
Thank you for your very good submission. Thank you.
Okay, Vic, there's no question. The council, I'd like to thank for your presentation, and I'm sure we'll let you know which direction we'll go. Thank you, Vic.
Righto, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Cheerio.
Okay, Peter.
They must be together.
And Pauline.
Hi, Peter. Can you hear us all right?
Hi, how you going? Yep, this is Peter Cam and Pauline Bright. Thank you for
also, if you like to start on your presentation, thank you.
That's all right. Well, thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak to you. We much appreciate that. And it's fantastic that the councillors have agreed to take action to repair the lake. We certainly appreciate that as well. Yeah, the lake is so important to the Numurkah community in terms of our leisure, wildlife, tourism. And unfortunately, at the moment, the lake is looking very sad. And so that's why we've put this submission in to hopefully get something done.
So the submission that we've put in is requesting that some money be allocated so we can get a company in to do the first weed cut in the lake. The lake level at the moment is at the optimum level required for the weed cutting to take place. And so we were hoping that we could, at least in the first instance, while the long-term plan is being worked on, if we could at least start by getting the lake tidied up a little bit by taking out the weed and then putting water in the lake to keep the weed at a level, controllable level. They're indicating that the level of the lake probably needs to be about 2 metres. And at the moment, the lake is in some places less than 1 metre. It's 1.5 metres, so on. Yeah, so that's what we would like to see. And I think that if the town's people, the residents of the town, could at least see something taking place, it would put their minds at ease and perhaps cut down, some of the correspondence that's going in and out about, do this, don't do that. And so I think that by doing this initial thing would be a great start. My main concern is I don't yet know who's going to pay for the allocation of water to then maintain the lake once we've had the weed cut, because there will be ongoing costs, because you've got to keep the weed down to a level. And also, of course, the water has got to be paid for to maintain the level to help keep the weed down. I'm not sure yet whether, because we haven't heard, there's been any consultation with Lakeside at all, whether Lakeside has yet had any input to what's going to happen with the lake? Are they willing to participate? Rah, rah, rah. But so that's the reason we put the submission in, hoping that we could get an allocation of money this coming year to at least start doing something with the lake while the long-term plan is ticking over in the background.
Thank you, Pauline. Is there any questions from the councillors?
Have you got any questions, Pete?
Just a couple of questions. What are your short-term plans to improve the lake? Have you discussed a plan in terms of the short-term frame?
Is there any questions from the councillors?
Sorry, maybe you didn't hear Peter.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
What are the short-term plans to improve the lake?
I'm sorry, we can't discuss that question live until the decision's been made by councillors. Peter, sorry, mate.
No, that's okay. That's fine.
Councillors, are there any questions for Peter and Pauline? Councillor Librick's got a question. Peter and Pauline.
Peter and Pauline, thanks for your presentation. Just a question, and you raised it yourselves, but the ongoing water issue is a significant part of the solution, in my view. Has there been any work done in the community as far as trying to raise money to be part of that discussion?
Well, to answer that question, sorry, had you finished?
There seems to be an expectation that council should be doing all of this. I'm just wondering whether there's been any discussion about setting up a community group to raise some money to be part of the solution.
To answer that question, no, there hasn't. Given that the people certainly that live around the lake, we, through our rates over many, many years, pay extra rates because we have the privilege of living on the lake. So I guess to answer that question, my personal opinion is my contribution has been through my additional rates that I pay. We all, the people that live along the lake for the last 10 years at least, even in the drought, all water the Shire's ground or lakeside ground, whoever owns it. We've all maintained the grass area along the lake that enables people to walk along there and exercise. So, but to answer your question, no, there's been no community at this point group set up to raise money. I wasn't aware that we were responsible for doing that.
You raise a valid point that the ones who live close to the lake certainly pay a premium for being for living there, but from the correspondence that we're seeing and the comments in the paper, the whole community see this as a substantial asset. So my question, I'm not saying it should be, I'm just asking the question whether the community are prepared to put their hand up and actually make some sort of contribution.
Well, given the current financial situation of the general community or population, we all know how tough people are doing it, and people are struggling, to feed kids and so on. In fact, I would dare to say that a large percentage of the population would live week to week. They wouldn't have any extra money to put in towards the lake. Yes, maybe there could be some fundraising events, but that takes an awful lot of effort to, prepare those things and get it going. So yes, but to answer your question, no.
Well, Pauline and Peter, thanks for your presentation. Well done. Look, we'll be in touch with our discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Yeah, done.
Got to get rid of this now. Leave. We click on leave. Oh.
Hello, Amanda, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can. Welcome, Amanda, to the show. If you'd like to do your presentation now, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Amanda Lukes, and thank you for giving me your time tonight. So my request is that Luce Road be widened to 2 lanes. Luce Road is just over a 10-kilometre long narrow road that links Numurkah to Yarrawonga. Luce Road is in desperate need for widening due to the increased demand of traffic. The shoulders are being constantly repaired by patching up the edges. However, these repairs do not last. In some areas, the edges are quite steep, and in lots of areas, the shoulders have gravel the size of golf balls. I did attach some photos of the edges at around 500 Luce Road in my application, so I trust that you had a look at them, or did you see them?
Yes, so the councillors received all.
Okay, so in a small section around 336 Luce Road, it had the shoulders sealed around 20 years ago, and this section has never needed any repairs or further maintenance done to the shoulders of this section. So we see one major problem with this single lane sealed road are the trucks. There have been a significant increase with trucks, including B doubles, that use this road daily. Riverland, the oilseed factory in Numurkah, uses this road frequently, driving to and from Yarrawonga, as this is the most direct route from Numurkah on a sealed road. These trucks and other semi-trailers rarely slow down when passing another vehicle coming the opposite way, destroying prior repairs of the edges even more. So I do have a few suggestions, but does anybody else have any questions to the problems that I've outlined so far?
I think do your presentation first and then we'll go back to questions if you like.
Yep. So I do have a few suggestions. So perhaps a traffic count, and maybe members of council take a drive down Luce Road, especially during the wet weather. Reviewing the cost of repairs, too, with the cost of permanently extending the edges, and even a suggestion that the project be completed in sections to reduce the costs.
Amanda, I want to ask.
So I know that Peter is Lawless there.
Yes, he's here. But the question I want to ask, and I want to ask Mark, would that be a shared cost to this road or just all taken by Shire?
Well, it's an existing asset, Mr Mayor, which is being sought for an upgrade in terms of widening and sealing. Normally that's the sort of project we'd try to secure grant funding for if the council thought it was a priority. But it's a through road in the sense of being, you know, a connector of some sort, although some comments here suggest we have other roads that we think are better placed to be that connector. But normally it would be at council's cost, subject to any grant opportunities.
Thank you, Mark. Councillor Martin's got a question for you, Amanda.
Yeah, it's probably Amanda for you and I guess the personnel, but is there, probably following on from what the CEO said, is there another route that, even though it might be a little bit longer, but it would be safer for your grain trucks to go? I'm not saying your road's acceptable, but for those big heavy ones, because even if you did it in sections, you're wearing, it's a bit like Sydney Harbour Bridge, you have to keep going around and fixing it. So is there another route that some of these big heavy vehicles could go down that isn't chewing into this road and it's on a better road?
Amanda, the question was, is it...
So my argument is the section that has actually been widened already, that was over 20 years ago, that hasn't, to my knowledge, even been repaired. So it hasn't been patched up or repaired. So it was done properly 20 years ago in front of my parents-in-law's place, and it's a lovely section of road and it's never needed repairs. So if those sections that are especially dangerous down Luce Road are widened, there shouldn't be a problem with the trucks using the road.
Just the money, that's all.
Yeah, but if it's done over a few years, is that a problem if it's done over a few years?
No.
Unless we can get grants, it will be a problem because it's $3 million worth by the look, so it'd be a huge problem. But Peter Lawless has a question. Amanda?
Amanda, thanks for your presentation. Do you have a preference other than in front of your place as to where the road needs attention? I travel that road quite often and there are sections that do need attention So have you identified another identified sections of that road that if it was done over a number of years, that would be better to attack as part of an overall project?
Yes, especially the first part from the Tokemala Highway until, I would say, Singapore Road. That would be a priority there. The boulders on the side of the roads, and that section there is number one. And the section down, I think it's, what's that? Do you know where Singapore Road, but Peter Swartz's farm. It's where, it's from Henry's Peter Swartz's farm as well. So that road, so Singapore Road down to Labourne Road. That is that section there, but probably not quite to Labourne Road. It's probably two blocks from Singapore Road. Those are quite steep as well, those edges. So out the front of Peter Swartz's farm, his driveway, which is.
Thanks, Amanda. And I think that you've also mentioned that the school bus travels that road as well.
Yeah, there's two school buses. So the Numurkah bus and the special school bus, they both travel down Luce Road. So we also, like, you get anything from push bike riders all the way through to the big B doubles. And there, it's just a dangerous, I think it's just going to be it's just I think an accident waiting to happen. And we want to avoid that. We want to make it as safe as possible, that road. How much does it cost actually to get the edges repaired annually?
Look, we haven't got that answer right now for you, Amanda, but what we're going to do is have a discussion with councillors and we'll be in touch. So we'll need to go on there because we've got many other presentations. Thank you very much for your presentations, Amanda. Well presented. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, Pete. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Adrian Salter, the next one. Apex Club of Cobham.
Trucks will use it because they don't.
There you go. How are you going?
Okay, we're unmuted now.
Adrian, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can. If you'd like to start on your presentation, thank you.
Yep, for sure. So listen, this is somewhat an ongoing. Some of the councillors will know about the former Apex Caravan Park.
I'm sorry, councillors.
Everyone hear me okay?
Ooh, that's pretty. You can do sign language.
Anyone, can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, go for it, Adrian.
No worries. As I was saying, the caravan park in Cobram, after the community worked to retain it from being, I guess, rationalised into the council, the Cobram Rotary Club and the Cobram Barooga Apex Club have got together to form as a loose steering committee for the park. We've started generating some ideas and consult with the community on what the future might look like for the park, and very much we've quite regularly come up against needing to have some hard documents or a good plan for people to be able to have a look at. So in our submission to the budget, we were asking for $15,000 to get some planning done by a professional town planner. I believe it's the company I've engaged to get a quote from. I think the council I've worked with quite regularly, Spire and Shepparton. I think they've had a recent name change from what they usually were. So that's what we're looking for. Basically, it gives us a first step to engage with the community, engage with council and other government bodies to look at new options for the space. At the moment, unfortunately, it's not doing anything. I don't believe there's any plans really through the council for it. So what we're trying to do is maybe try, the whole idea of what our steering committee of the two service clubs is to try and be a conduit between the community and council and other interested parties to try and shape what that beautiful part of Cobram or central part of Cobram can be, and actually have a new life after the former caravan park. I think I've spoken to a few of the councillors at different times and mentioned the potential for that location. Obviously, it does encompass the pool, which I know does include another part of the council strategy of the aquatic strategy, which is ongoing. But this also might give us a chance to be able to engage in that part of the council's planning as well. But like all first things that needs to happen is there needs to be some sort of a plan. It's important for the community to be important for the community to be able to see the potential of that space. With it, that way we can go forward, and when we are engaging with different bodies, we've got a document that we can sort of move forward with. Otherwise, we're currently sort of waving our hands in the air and having big ideas, but not being able to actually have a good visual or no one in a professional stance that have been able to have a really good look at what's possible there. So yeah, this will allow us to be able to be that conduit and take some ideas forward to the community and maybe get some really solid feedback. So that's basically the idea. Unfortunately, not a lot has happened there since the caravan park has closed down. So we're wanting to try and make something happen. We've always been of the opinion that we're not expecting just to ask the Moira Shire Council for a blank check to do this or do that, or we want this. It's something we've always talked about where the community needs to be able to find funding to do projects there. But I guess this coming, we're hoping that the council will be able to help facilitate some of the planning and some of the be able to help the community do maybe reinvent this part of the Cobram township. So on that, I guess that's that's basically what we're looking for. That first step, that ability to have a professional plan that we can take forward and help with our future discussions with council and the community and other groups.
And I'll ask the tough question. Has Apex Club got any money to put towards this design work?
We've actually got a meeting tonight, Libro. It's probably something we can bring up. Obviously, everyone's got to have a bit of skin in the game with this. We've actually just, obviously with COVID, our funds are a bit quarantined at the moment with everyone else because we haven't been able to run our major fundraising events, but it definitely would be something that potentially the council, the club probably would be interested in looking at. Yeah.
Thank you, Adrian. Councillor Limbrick, you got a question?
Yeah, just a quick one, Adrian. I know I was part of that discussion group when we met at election time and had a look at the space, and it's a big area. Has there been any consideration to possibly subdividing the eastern end of that area off for residential, for example? I'm playing the devil's advocate a bit. I know there's some history on who owned the land originally and where it came from, but whether that's a possibility to, one, limit the space that you've got to develop, because there is a significant amount of ground there, and two, to offset some of the cost of doing what you want to do on the rest of it. Is there been any discussion about that, or is it not palatable to the community, or?
Yeah, no, the community is open to that. Like we're well aware it's a large space, and definitely I was speaking to one of the other committee members just last week about the possibility for that. There's down Campbell Road end, there's probably potential. I guess it's one of those things. There's always a compromise that's got to happen. If we want to do some big projects, well, there's got to be a bit of give here and there to potentially look at doing some larger bits of infrastructure up, let's say the pool end, which is closer to where it'd be more community engagement, and the other end of the park where it's probably more inclined to be maybe developed if you had to. Once again, that comes back to being able to have a plan, being able to have a look at these things. That's why we're looking to start, because there's a lot of ideas that have been thrown around about this space, but until there's a concept there, that the discussion's much harder to have that discussion.
It's just important though, if you're going to put together a plan, that if that's a possibility and that's the way that you're going to offset some of the costs, it should probably form part of the plan, not be something that's brought in later to say, well, we can't justify spending the money, but maybe we subdivide this off when we've got this master plan, then we have to go and redo it again. So
yeah, that's right.
As long as everything's on the table when you make the plan, I think it's probably what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, when part of the plan, I actually don't like the idea of the wording of a master plan, because it seems final. I think the idea of engaging a professional business to try and help us have a chat and see what's, because we're still a community group without town planning experience. If you can talk to people who have got that experience, seen what spaces like this in other towns have been used for, and how potentially we could fund them, that's part of what we're asking for in this submission, is to be able to engage those professionals and have those discussions, because we're not professional town planners. This way we might be able to access those people and be able to find some good options.
Adrian, Councillor Martin's got a question for you.
Yeah, thank you, Adrian, for your presentation. I think it's a good idea what you're aiming to do, and I like the thoughts too that you'd like to get the community's feedback, that it's not just a flick and tick, that you actually go out to the community, and you might have a group that say, no, we want this, some of this to go to a subdivision, others might say, no, we want this for this, and that's what you're all about, consulting the community, and you can look at other places and that, but ultimately it's Cobram's space. So, yeah, thank you for your presentation. I think you're on the right track.
You don't have to answer that one, Adrian. It was well informed. Good presentation, Adrian. Thank you, and we'll be in touch.
Appreciate that. I like the look at your table you're sitting at. It looks like a nice.
Yeah, stop bragging. You don't need to start
do you know
bragging.
who made it?
Yeah, I know.
That's not going to get you.
I thought I couldn't leave without saying that. So.
Okay, thanks, Adrian. John Tyrrell.
Thank you, and we'll be in touch.
Appreciate that. I like the look at your table you're sitting at. John, you're going to have to turn your other recording off, please. Thank you.
John, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Welcome, John. If you'd like to start your presentation.
Okay, I'm representing the Tungamah Kickstart Committee out of Tungamah. We have spent a lot of time lately on our information centre that we've just opened, the councillors know of. We've done a lot of work. It's cost us a fair bit of money and we're very happy with what's happening there in the information centre. Now out of Tungamah, as you know, a few years ago in 2018, we lost our swimming pool. It was the education department didn't want to fund it anymore, so we lost that. We're now looking at for the Tungamah people who only have the Boozy Creek as water and you cannot swim in that at all. It's too dirty. A splash park. So we're looking at that. We've looked at the land that we could put it on, which is council land in Boyd Street, Tungamah, the reserve there, right behind the kindergarten, next to the playground and the information centre. We have quotes for the equipment for it, which I put into the council of $129,000 for the equipment only. And then, of course, on top of that is the cost of installing and of the concrete and everything like that. We're still working on those costs. I'm sure that the Tungamah community needs somewhere for the children there. As I said, it's right behind the kindergarten who could use it all the time. Yarrawonga has a swimming pool, Cobram, Nathalia, Namurka, and we have nowhere for the people of Tungamah to use for water. We have an RV park there that the council knows about. A lot of people attend that with children. We have many weekends, we have 25 caravans there. So it'd be great if we could start negotiations of putting in a splash park in Tungamah. I'm sure that, the residents of Tungamah are very happy with this and it would be a great idea for Tungamah.
Thank you, John. Councillor Martin has a question for you, John, if that's okay.
Thanks, John, for your presentation. I know you've got the costs for setting it up and that, but my concern is with the maintenance because this thing's got to be spot on so nobody gets ear infections and whatever. So what do you think the community would feel about if you did have it, you were successful, it was up and running, that the people of Tungamah would perhaps be interested in paying a little bit more in rates to sort of offset some of the maintenance costs?
Well, I haven't discussed with the Tungamah people increasing the rates. But I'm sure that the Tungamah Kickstart Committee looked at maintenance and we feel that we could probably do that with the amount of money that we're getting in from, a little bit in from the silos, that people visit our silos every day, except for through COVID, of course, and the little bit of money we get out of the RV park. I'm sure that would help with the maintenance of it each year, and that the Kickstart Committee would be prepared to do the cleaning and the maintenance of it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Lawless has a question, John.
John, have you put much thought into the sort of catchment area that you would be hoping to attract people to this splash park, apart from just the people that live in Tungamah? Like, would you envisage getting people from, say, Wilby, Lake Rowan, St James, and west of Tungamah, and the most important place, Barramide and Telford? But would you be hoping to sort of attract people from those areas? Because they traditionally were the areas that serviced the school there, but many of those people now go on buses to Yarrawonga.
Yes, Peter, we would be looking at people from, because St James, Gurumbat, Devonish, as you said, the great town of Barramide, has no swimming pool or no water park at all. That's what we would like to get to those towns, into Tungamah.
Thanks, John.
Any other questions from councillors? Councillor Mansfield has a question, John.
Thank you, John. Good presentation. As you realise, the Tungamah footy sheds are just getting a big refurbishment at the moment, upwards of $900,000. Also, the Tungamah courthouse has got problems. Has there been any consultation with other groups that want the courthouse fixed up and the splash park people getting together and seeing what your priorities are?
Yeah, I've spoken to the courthouse people. They were supposed to come to a meeting tonight. We're having tonight, but because we can't have that many people through COVID in our room, I did this presentation tonight and we've cancelled our meeting to next week. But a member of that committee is coming to the Kickstart committee next Monday night.
Right, thank you.
From the courthouse.
If there's no other questions, John, I want to thank you very much for your great presentation, and John will be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Thanks.
American District Historical Society.
Hi, Jeff, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, Jeff. If you'd like to start on your presentation, thank you.
Right. Okay. Look, but basically, well, first of all, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. But basically, what I wanted to do was just really emphasise the written submission that we put in from the Historical Society in Numurkah. We're particularly keen to get some financial support for the Historical Society building, which is one of probably only 3 heritage type buildings left in Numurkah. And we'd like to see that building continue in a really good state so that it can be used for its original purpose, which was a community or historical precinct. And so we're particularly keen to get funding from the Shire, if possible, for the windows, which are in a really bad state of repair. 3 of them have fallen out over the last 3 or 4 years. The latest one, which I experienced myself, was when one of the windows fell in last year. Luckily, it fell in and not fell out onto the street. But there was rotten wood. The putty was no good. The glass broke. And it just landed everywhere on our displays in one of our display rooms upstairs. So we are starting to get concerned about the maintenance on the building in terms of those types of things, because they become a safety issue for our members, but also for the public as well. We've had to shut down that upstairs room because of the boarded up windows. We can't use it as a display room anymore. And we're lacking space from that point of view. Probably the other thing I want to emphasise is the fact that the Historical Society over the last probably 3 or 4 years has gone through a bit of a renaissance, with extra members coming on board, extra volunteers helping with various things around the Historical Society, trying to keep it running as smoothly as possible for the public, but also to make sure that our role is to make sure that we've got all the historical artefacts and records from our Numurkah district in storage and in safe storage, so that we can display it or use it when the public requires it. We've had a really big increase in family research, which is probably a really big thing in lots of communities nowadays. And the fact that we're a place of deposit for the Victorian government means that we've got extra records that are usually sent down to Melbourne in storage, in public record storage. We're able to keep some of our local ones, which means that when people come in to the museum, we can offer them things like the old Shire of Numurkah rate books from 100 years ago, Apex Club minutes when the Apex Club folded a few years ago, those sorts of things. If we can remain a vibrant, welcoming museum, then I'm sure that we can get the best out of the records and artefacts that we keep. So I suppose that's where I'm coming from, trying to get the building up to a state where there's no safety issues. And then after that, you know, certainly from the volunteers' point of view, we are really keen to keep going with the activities that we've done over the last few years. Last year, we ended up getting 3 or 4 grants to work on displays, permanent displays, getting our artefacts out of storage so that we can display them. So we are really keen to keep it going as a vibrant historical society. And I think the building is part of that, part of what we feel is something that we owe the community. If you did have a chance to read the submission, you probably realise that the bank is over 100 years old. It's only one of 3 heritage buildings probably left in Numurkah, brick buildings that is, and it was gifted to the Numurkah Shire from public money and also from a local family trust, and they gifted it for that purpose of his historical precinct. So that's probably all I need to say. It's more just to keep the maintenance going on the building to make sure that we can have a really vibrant place for the community and for our historical society. So
Thank you for your presentation, Jeff. We'll ask our council if they have any questions for you. Councillors, have you any questions for Jeff?
I'll ask them a question.
Councillor Martin wants to ask a question. Make sure there's no conflict of interest, Councillor Martin.
No, I don't think there's, but how much money would you have received for maintenance from the Shire in the last 10 years, 20 years? Have you got a record?
Yeah, like we don't have any records of the actual amount, but in my submission, I did say that just in the last couple of years, we've received a little bit more maintenance. So some roofing replacement, an extra handrail on the stairs upstairs, which was really another safety issue. And what was the other main thing? Oh, the exit emergency lights were put in, which was a bit of a surprise to us. We didn't know that was actually coming after we'd done our own exit signs and updated our emergency plan. While the museum was closed last year for COVID, all of a sudden the electrical light exit lights were put in. So I can't give an actual amount. Kelvin Fennedy would probably know the amount, but it really hasn't been a lot over the last 10 to 20 years. It's probably only the last couple of years that we've even been seen as a community facility, because originally I don't think we were part of Section 86, which I think is the community facility.
Thanks for that, Jeff. Well, I want to thank you very much for your presentations, and we'll be in touch, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Councillors, could I please have a motion to resume standing orders? Councillor Martin, can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Lawless, all those in favour? Carried, thank you. Councillors, can I please have a motion from this committee to refer today's submissions to the next scheduled meeting on council to form part of council's consultation process of the 2021-22 budget process? Councillor Martin, can I please have a seconder? Councillor Limbrick. On behalf of council, hang on a sec, all those in favour of the motion? Yes, going to be too quick there, thank you, carried. On behalf of council, I'd like to thank everyone that has made a submissions, and also thank you for your time and effort this evening to be part of the consultation process. This now concludes this committee of council meeting. Thank you and good night.